So we talked briefly as far as emotions and learning how to connect your emotions. Can you give us some ideas as far as how you deal with that in your life?
Absolutely. Um, for those who have more difficulty connecting with emotions, I always ask the question, what do you feel? And when they say pain, I will ask them, where is it hurting? And they'll say, in my heart or here. And I'll say, okay, then let's call a heart doctor because you may be having a heart attack. If there's pain here, that you might be having a.
Yes, yes, okay.
So they laugh and immediately they change immediately and they're like, no, it's not real pain. It's the sensation. So there's a difference between emotions, feelings, and sensations, and they live in different worlds. Emotions are normally accompanied with interpretations from our mind, from thoughts. Feelings are pure. Feelings are pure. You can feel fear,
Yeah.
and then the emotion will go from, oh my God, something horrible will happen, or it's happening, and this is, and it may be just a cockroach, but you see it as a monster, right? I have, I take
Me
care
too,
of
me too.
roaches. Can get me out of my feelings into a major panic attack. I hate them. I will not stand in a room with a roach until that thing is out and they know for sure is out. So um, sensations are only in the body. So if you can differentiate, if you can like write it down, and I ask everybody who's listening, write those 3 steps down, because like immediately when you have anything coming up and it's overtaking your life, or it's like, even if it's under pressure, you're just trying to pressurize it underneath so nobody will notice it, it's still there and it's still feeding off from you. So if you can separate feelings, sensations, and emotions, and know, it's like separating socks from underwear, from your panties from your bras, then you'll know what's real and what's not. So another way that it's extremely powerful and I use a lot is through movement. um, and we talked about this last time, and there's something called primal movement. And it's not tribal movement. It's primal. And when I talked about primal, I don't know if anybody participate and they want to say what they understand about what primal means. If anybody wants to leave a comment before I say what I would say. Let's see if anybody says. I can't see anybody, so um, I'll
I'll,
I'll get
I'll,
your
get your I'll let you know if anyone pops up. While we see if anyone answers, can you repeat the three things again?
feelings and emotions. So emotions are basically, they're basic, but they go from one pole to another pole extreme, and with a pendulum like that. Normally people should aim to be in the middle, regular, like centered, so that you're not either in a panic or on the other way of being completely fearless, like so fearless that you take on dangers that are completely um, unproportionate, that you won't be able to get out. And each capacity of us, whether you call it chakra or a capacity, moving with no reason, just dancing out of feeling. Great. So Charlotte, let me just get to Charlotte before I continue. So uh, Ch- Charlotte, the chakras or the capacities of ourselves have hold a certain feeling, emotion, and sensation. Whether it is the first chakra, thank you, Jumbo, the first chakra, which is the grounding chakra, which will ground you to the earth and make you feel safe, is the one. The archetype is the warrior, and so the movement would be down to the earth. And the music that you would use to like get into that movement would be music, tribal music, drums, earth, something that is like a warrior. It doesn't have to be an aggressive warrior, but if the aggression is there, it will come out. And it's better that you handle it in a safe spot, whether guided or learning how to dance the first chakra on the warrior, so that you can experience getting in and out of that step, this space. And so you can, and then there's a sound to each chakra too. Same with like the first chakra would be so it would be somebody who is putting their step down, putting their foot down. This is my space, boundaries. You're not going to step in here. This is my tribe. I'm going to protect, and nobody can mess with me. The second one would be the pleasure on the second chakra. And there's a sound to that too, which it's not pleasure for sex. This is what people have it very confused. It's not genital pleasure. It's just the arrows of life. How do you experience enjoying an afternoon with nothing to do but just relaxing? And that sounds sexual, but it isn't, right?
Wow, yeah,
but but,
definitely.
but it's the voice of pleasure. It's the voice of, oh my god, this is so great, this is ecstatic, right? But it can go from one pole of repression to the other pole of abuse. So people who are not centered could become rapists or abusers, or manipulators, etc., narcissists. And then we move on to the different chakras. On the third chakra, you'll find the fire, the will, the tiger, the this power that makes you go with all your strength, get out of the bed, even when you're at your worst, and say, I'm not going to, let, anything like stop me. I'm going to get what I want without stepping on anybody. Because then you can go to that pole too, which is the over imposer, or the person who he's very competitive, and he needs to be number one at all times and has to have the last word at all times. And it's kind of like a tyrant, right? Or you can go to the other extreme, where you're so shy and so afraid that whatever you do, it's going to come out bad, that you decide not to move out of your place. And if we keep moving up, then we go to the fourth and the heart, where the affections are held. And you can go to the one extreme of magic sentimentalism, where you're not grounded, you're not really enjoying, but you're idealizing, what love is. Or you can go to the other end, where you are incapable of real love, of connecting. You are just an abuser. You are somebody who has no boundaries and does not respect anything. So as you can see, you are building up. If the first one isn't grounded, isn't right, then everything else will be affected. So it's important for each individual to understand feelings, emotions, and sensations. Why movement, Charlotte? Because through movement, you can actually use all three. But I will say one thing: while you are moving your body, your mind shuts off. And Nietzsche used to say, and for those who were deaf, the people who were dancing seemed like crazy, who were listening.
Yes, I've heard that.
So
Yeah.
the one of the most effective ways to heal the mind is just move, dance, and let the dance be your healing. Because in that moment you can't think, you're not thinking, you are just concentrated on your breathing and your movement. And so that's how I recommend or tell people to connect. I know I'm disconnected from my emotion or from my feelings, let's say, when I'm in the midst of emotions that are, first, I'm not moving, so I know that I'm stuck in a place of darkness. and whether I do it out of choice or, and when I say out of choice, it's hi Dave. Um, what I do it out of choice, meaning sometimes in my process of growth, I've felt that I always spoke in metaphors, and a lot of people didn't like that, but a lot of people actually loved it, loved the idea of connecting to a visualizing graphic that has nothing to do with what they're going, not talking about their emotion, but me putting it on like a French toast. You know what I mean? Like, so they're, oh, I see, like we did with the phone and the paper. Um, so for me, it's like becoming a seed. Many seeds can actually be put on a plastic bowl with water and paper, and they grow and they bloom. But many other seeds need to be underground, under the earth, in the darkness, in the mildew, in the cold, in the wet, ugh, in the dirt, and they need to go down there in order to bloom. And some of them may take years, like a bamboo, which takes 6 or I don't know how many years before they bloom, because they have to go really deep so that they can grow roots that are really deep so that they can actually then go really high, right, really tall. So a lot of people will, if you ask them what tree do you think it's stronger, a bamboo or a cedar or a oak, and they'll say the oak. Well, yeah, the oak seems to be stronger. I mean, it's like huge trunk and like very beautiful and hard and so beautiful wood, but there's a difference between being stronger and being weak, or stronger and being flexible. There's a difference between being weak and being fragile or delicate. And we get those words confused a lot of times and use them against ourselves. And I speak for me. I don't know other people. They may share that. So I always try to like clarify. I'm fragile right now. I'm not weak. I'm not weak. The difference between the oak and the bamboo, the oak will not stand a hurricane. It will crack because it's so rigid and so dense that
Yes.
it may it may shake, but at some point it will just crack. The bamboo will shake, but it won't crack.
Wow.
The difference is that the bamboo is hollow. It's hollow. There's nothing in there. So if we can become that through movement, then the emotions or the feelings or the sensations will be in and out. And that's life. Why is it called primal dance? It's not because you're dancing, Charlotte. I just wanted to clarify that for you. It's not because you're dancing. One, it's primal because the idea is to reconnect to your primal ages when you were born. When a child is born, there's nothing nice for a child that comes out of a safe womb where he has nothing to do but just like eat whatever the mom is giving. He's sheltered, he's like in his little bubble. When he comes out, it's like, what the heck is this? Like, there's noises, there's light, there's like, so what's the first thing they do? Babies, we all do, it's cry.
Cry. Yeah.
And that's the first voice of each individual. That's our primal voice.
Wow.
When you see online with babies, like everybody, like like those Instagram like babies that are like listening to music and they're moving, that's primal. Nobody taught them that step. Nobody can teach primal how to move like this way or that way. That's primal. So the whole idea of primal dance is to reconnect to that, to your primal being, so that you can actually move from there and know who you get to know from who you really are at your primal, safe, healthy. And if your primal is angry, then also know that and how to tame that beast. Because you know how children fight and they bite and that's primal animal, right? That's, I don't see. I'm sure you bite.
I would get in trouble if I did that.
Okay. I mean, love bites. They're called love bites, but children have no love bites. They actually bite, and when they bite, they're going for like they need to learn that that's not something humans should do. But that's primal.
Wow.
That's them
Absolutely.
being Chakra, the prime. The dance relates. It's a metaphor to life when you come and in and out of the feelings and emotions and moments when you meet people randomly and they come and in and out of your life. That's a dance. You're dancing through life, and if you cannot flow, then you get stuck. Then that's where like more problems like begin or reoccur. I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. I loved all of that. So much awesome information. So much awesome information. Absolutely. How long have you been teaching in this arena?
10 years. 10 years. 2010.
2010. So is that kind of like your last um
Never.
good point. Was that your last, I guess, segment of your life where you were enthralled or in a world with a narcissist? Like, is that like a definitive line?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because even with all the knowledge, which is information, if it's not practiced, as a ritual every minute of your day, um, we're still like narcissists in general, um, adult narcissists. I'm not because adolescents are narcissists by nature, children are narcissists by nature, but they don't have well, adolescents maybe, but children don't have the evil vein, let's say, or the bad blood to them. But they're narcissists at nature, in which means they want the attention. They think they're entitled. They want what they want when they want it. They throw tantrums. They manipulate. Mom, I'll give you a kiss if you buy me. Or I won't study if you don't buy me this or that. So, but um, being a single mom of a boy and raising him basically on my own, and have had a father who was, I mean, his father had parents who were narcissists and a husband ex-husband who is a narcissist. I felt that I had to go into that road of self-healing. It did not start with primal movement. It started with radical forgiveness, with calling tipping. Yeah, I did the training with him in Georgia in Dahlonega, and when he was healthy, and I was very privileged and I loved it. And then
Can you explain just a segment of
yeah,
that?
so radical forgiveness is a methodology that this Englishman called Colin Tippin designed. He's a character. He's amazing, and it's based on very few facts. The first and most important is that there's really nothing to forgive. So when you find that there's something to forgive, you're playing the victim story.
That's so crazy. And I can totally say 100% that I am right there with you. But I didn't know that though.
Now, forgiveness does not condone the actions, the bad actions of other people, nor that you are actually willing to take those actions and keep, like flagellating yourself through other people. It only means that it's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Seeing it that way, there's nothing to forgive. And one of the first things they asked us to do for the training, I'll just give you the gossip before anybody signs up, is write your story the most victimized way you could write it. Just bash about how horrible the people around you were with you. And so then you go into deconstructing that belief from what happened to what you interpreted that happened, and what what emotion that combination created, but and how that enabled you to really feel what was really going on, which is what was happening for you, not to you. Hard to swallow. It's really hard to swallow, especially if you come from a trauma of sexual abuse, rape, or anything like, or something even worse like criminal death, or like somebody getting killed. Or it's hard to tell somebody, there's nothing to forgive. This is happening for, like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. That
so
would be difficult.
I would understand if people hate me right now, but I did not create this method. You can find Colin and tell him about it. I am sure that there's always a silver lining. There's always a silver lining behind every bad thing that happens. I always tell, you know, everybody there cannot be bad if there isn't good. So it's just, and
Absolutely.
and then the other thing each would say is, in a moment in which you don't know what you want and what's bad or good, just throw a coin up in the air. It's not that the coin will decide your fate. Is that while the coin is up in the air, your subconscious will tell you, you will be able to listen to what you really want.
Yes, that's actually, I use that one with my clients, and one of my favorite. I use it myself
Yes,
all the time.
it works, doesn't it? It works.
100%.
So the radical forgiveness works like that. There's nothing to forgive. This is not happening to me, but for me. I created all this. I created it in a way, in a subconscious way, so that I could learn something and then reframe it. What is there for me to learn in this game, in this scenario? So most of the times, it's not forgiving other people, it's forgiving yourself, which is the hardest part. For me, has been the hardest part.